a member of the DATC media family. Hey, music lovers, Sara J here. Looking for an inclusive space where you can connect with fellow fans, deep dive into your favorite music, and be a part of something special? Well, look no further. Join us on Patreon, where music and community come together. Get exclusive content, behind the scenes access, and a place to geek out over the artists you love, plus explore music you haven't heard yet. Come hang out with us. Patreon.com/DATC Media Company. That's patreon.com/DATC Media Company. See you there. Hello, hello.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you doing?
Oh my God, I got so lucky. Like I remembered, I was assuming it was like 3 o'clock, so I didn't even look at I'm on my laptop, and I looked. It was 4:03. How
That's
you doing?
funny. What are you up to? Getting into the new house?
Yeah, in the new house, and I'm sitting out back. It's more nature. We used to live
Nice.
downtown. It's kind of more
Yeah.
nature like. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's a nice
pretty.
porch for hangs.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I'm actually really liking it. It wasn't my idea to move, um, but I'm liking it here.
Sometimes you got to keep yourself open, right? Open to
Yes.
the idea of something different, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and that was my reaction. I was just kind of like, okay, we've been downtown for 9 years. Downtown in Kingston is kind of, you not a massive downtown, but it's a nice one. And we were there 9 years,
Yeah.
and when Joanne suggested it to me, I surprisingly was like, okay, if you want. Well, she obviously showed me the house, so yeah, it was kind of out of the blue, and it's it's uh, it's worked out well. I like it here. Nice to change sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For
And how are
sure.
you?
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm good. I'm doing
Yeah.
well. Things are good. Health is well.
Good.
Just getting life back on track and,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's next in terms of treatment and doctors and things, but
Yeah.
health is good. Health is good. Kids are good. I'm good. And yeah, we're just kind of looking forward is where we're at with everything,
Uh,
So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
every
that's
day
nice.
is
You look
a
good.
new day, so there's that.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you look good.
Thank
Um,
you.
so
Thank
it's good
you.
to hear things moving in the right direction. I don't even know where you live. Are you Toronto?
I'm actually in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, in Buffalo. We love Buffalo.
I was gonna ask. I was like, before we get into the many other things that I would love to ask you about, I have to ask you about Buffalo, New York. What are some of your favorite memories or your thoughts of the city?
Well, it was kind of like fairly early mid days, like kind of in the early 90s maybe. We realized, wait a second, there's something different about Buffalo. Like they just seem to be more loyal than other cities that American cities. And then it only grew and grew, like in Buffalo for the hip. It just it was amazing. Like we think, but it ended up that we think of Buffalo like we think of Toronto or um, Vancouver. Um,
Yeah.
just a very kind of a lot of hip support there. And
Oh,
yeah, so and
absolutely.
we've chatted with so many people from Buffalo. We had some great gigs there. A lot of great gigs in Buffalo.
Oh,
Um,
Art Park. You guys really liked Art Park a lot. You played a lot of
we
shows at
did.
Art Park.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
loved it there. Yeah.
that's a really
Um,
cool spot for sure.
yeah, what's not to love? I
Yeah.
mean, great spot to see a show too. Um,
Yeah, just period for sure.
yeah, but there's something different about Buffalonians.
Well, and you can still see it when I am at the gigs for the Strictly Hip. Like you can still see it. That's a big thing that plays in for them is because there is such that loyal fan base here that still wants to experience that music being played live. And,
Mhm.
I think that's why they're so popular here and have the following that they do is because Buffalo loves the hip.
Yeah,
They really do.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Do you
uh,
think that Buffalo would have been if you guys would have done a longer final tour, do you think that Buffalo would have definitely been a spot that you would have hit up?
oh, of course, yeah. It would be by far the most likely American city that we would have hit up. There were complications, so we couldn't do it. I mean, the tour was it was based on Gord, his health, and sort of all the fears in and around that. He was very confident. He's like, I don't need this. But, paramedics at every show and just kind of, a real watch on him. And yet he was 100% confident, which made me quite confident. But there were others that weren't. Um, and going to the States just provided a whole bunch of complications if he had something had happened or because he was having seizures here and there,
Sure.
but he changed into Gord Downey uh, frontman, so he didn't have a doubt. He's like, I'm totally fine. This is silly. And it's like, well, yeah, but we,
Yeah.
we sort of got to do it. And so there was no going to America option for us. And but Buffalo would have been the first place we'd go to for sure. And we
Yeah.
didn't necessarily even know it was the last show. Gord still wanted to go. He knew we couldn't go to the States, but he's like, well, why don't we keep going, like Montreal and you know Maritimes, Halifax, or something. And but then when we finished the show, that was the first thing he said after the show. He's sitting there all tired out, obviously, and he's like, that felt like the last one, and I agreed. We all did.
There you
It was
go then.
just the right
Yeah.
way to go. Yeah,
Yeah. For sure. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, we'll certainly come back to all of that, but I'm really excited to talk about your solo catalog. I've
Oh,
been really diving into your albums, so I'm excited to just talk about all four of them. So tell me a little bit about kind of the evolution, the decision to start doing solo work and the evolution from the first one to the latest release.
okay. I mean, I think I started. It was a little bit of an accident, but I came into the hip a little later. They had a sax player, whom I was good friends with as well, Davis. But he was Davis Manning. May he rest in peace. Great guy. But he was 40 and they were 20, and so Davis wanted to hit the road. They're mostly all in university. Johnny's still in high school, and they were just like, Davis, we can't do it. And so then they went as a four piece for sort of part of the summer, and they didn't like that either. And so they asked me to join, and because I was writing songs, and I was Gord's best friend, and I was going to hitchhike down to Nashville and try and make my way as a songwriter at that exact time. And Gord didn't like that at all, and so he approached those other guys, and I knew them. We were friends, and so yeah, I joined, and so the songwriting, you know, a couple songs threw in. We were kind of doing that through up to here, and then Road Apples, Gord, I think quite fairly and understandably was like, I'd like to do the lyrics because I have to sing them. You'd hand him a sheet of paper and he'd read it and just be like, okay, what's this mean here? And it just kind of, the feeling um, was all around that Gord should write the lyrics, and he was getting very good at it. Anyway, so I was always kind of had a songwriting thing, um, but then I just stopped with lyrics, and But then, say something, you present something within the hip and it doesn't work out. I mean, Robbie's done this a lot, and it's like, okay, that music didn't work out, so I'm going to use it myself. And then Gord went and made a solo record, and which, to be
Hmm.
honest, surprised all of us. Um, but we knew it was coming because he asked me to come sing backups. I sang backups on a couple songs in Toronto. Drove up from Kingston, and I just thought, well, if Gord's doing a solo record, maybe I should at least try and, you know, do some writing of my own. I wasn't necessarily thinking a record, but I did. And so I did the first record, Fix His Head, um, I don't know, maybe a year or two after Gord did his first solo record. And I was just me, the engineer, and just me. And so I played everything. I wanted to sort of experiment to see if I could drum. I knew I could play bass and guitar, and I knew I could sing, but I didn't know what kind of voice would come out, like as a lead voice. So it was kind of experimentation a little bit and a fairly solitary experience. And then eventually I got 10 songs, and that's kind of my number that I like. Yeah, so I was kind of not, didn't even want to promote it or anything like that. I certainly didn't want to tour it. Like I'd just done it myself. And I just thought, well, I put it out there and now it's out there. And then I got a band for Not Guilty, the next record. Robbie Baker was in the band, kindly. I didn't pay him a cent. And we did a full tour. Played Buffalo. Um,
Nice.
I forget the name of the club, but it's long and narrow. And there's a bar on the whole one side. The bar kind
Mm.
of runs almost, not all the way, but a long way.
I
Then the
wonder if
stage.
that was Nietzsche's. I don't know if they're still there anymore.
It might have been Nietzsche's.
It
Anyway,
might
so
have been Nietzsche's, yeah.
yeah, I think it might have been. Maybe someone will comment or no.
Somebody will
Uh,
let me know.
yeah, someone will let you know. Anyway, so that was a, full tour, so quite different. It was kind of promoted, released a single or stress track, which was Not Guilty, the title track. And yeah, we did a tour like 28 nights out of 35 across Canada. Stopped in Buffalo. Um, yeah, and then the last two records I've made with the same band, bunch of Kingston guys that are good friends. They're almost like friends first, but all musicians, but all with other careers. So it's tough to get together. It's tough to get everyone free. But anyway, so the last one before this new one was called Guess What, and that seemed to go well. Just like 4 or 5 days at the Bathhouse, which is the hip studio just outside Kingston, and then with this one, Smooth Rock Falls, same thing, same people. 4 days, just rehearsed before we went in, so it all went pretty quickly. So, and each record has 10 songs. Like I've been kind of half jokingly saying, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, and I said that after my second record, and everyone around me is kind of like, well, of course you're doing it. Yeah, of course you're going to do it. And so now I have 4 times 10, 40 songs out there. And I'm kidding around just because I know it bothers. There's a guy in the band, Greg Ball, is a good friend, and I know it bugs him. So I always kind of say, "Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm done with songwriting." And funnily enough, Gord Sinclair said that to me like a year ago. I think I'm done. I'm like, "There's no way you're done. You're a songwriter. You can't help it."
No,
So he's coming back at some point too, for sure.
that's fun. That's really exciting. It's exciting to see you guys individually doing different things, but then of course collectively a whole bunch of things happening and being released and stuff. So that's fun and exciting for sure. I want
Yeah.
to come back to your first album because I am such a music nerd. And when I was listening to your first album, the song Can't Wait Anymore and Use It Up from In Violet Light. the guitar work in the beginning is so similar.
Oh,
What are your
I don't know.
thoughts and things about this?
I'm trying to remember use it up. I can remember Can't Wait
I
Anymore.
want you to listen to this now. I've given you some homework. You're going to need to listen
No,
to
I
these
think
two songs.
I think you're right because I just thought of the two songs, pictured them, and yeah, there's a little bit of a ding, I don't know. So I will listen and compare. That way,
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think you're right.
Yeah, get back to me on it because I would love to know
Okay.
your actual thoughts on that because I was
Okay.
listening to it and I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. So, being a songwriter, I'm very curious how that kind of hung around, to come back in something else and do it again.
Yeah, it's
So,
so funny
yeah,
because
let me know.
in Can't Wait Anymore, I'm in open E, so I'm just kind of really just strumming and not doing much with my left hand, and like the little chords kind of thing. Whereas Use It Up, I
Hmm.
remember was a challenge. That was a challenge to play and a challenge to get right, because it was kind of that was more like bar chords, and but I think you're right. They're probably the same key too. Never ever thought of that, and no one has ever mentioned that. But that's good. I like to
Well,
know
there
these
you
things.
go.
I like to know these things, but I will give it a listen, sir. I will listen to that tonight.
Perfect. Well, that's how my ears hear music. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
which is a lot of fun. So let's come back to your latest release. I love this picture on the album. So tell
Oh,
me some more
I'm glad.
about this photo. This is your family, and how old are you in this picture?
I don't know. Like I bet you I'm like 13 if I had to guess.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
maybe 14, but I think 13. Grade 8 and or eighth grade, as you would say. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's some family. Like it's my dad lighting the smoke. We're about to head back to Kingston. Long drive, and we've been visiting for the weekend. And it's my youngest sister Sue on the bottom step. And I guess my age relative to her too, because I'm 6 years older than her, and she looks to me like about I don't know 7. Um, and then that's my aunt and uncle, the other two people on the porch. And it was just
Okay.
happenstance picture, and I ran into the picture. Both my parents passed away in the last few years, and you go through pictures. And anyway, I found that one, and I was like, wow, that'd be a really cool album cover. And so I gave it to the guy that does all my pictures, and he's a very very good friend all the way through. Fix his head all the way through. He'd done all the photos, and so I gave the picture to him, and he kind of he was able to bring it out a little bit. It's still very old school, but just make it everything a bit better, clearer. And so I just thought, okay, that's a good um, image, and it kind of suited the songs I was writing. Smooth Rock Falls is where my dad grew up, and he'd passed away, so I was like, I gotta, it just he seeped into certainly into a couple songs, as did my mom, because they died similar kind of times. Anyway, yeah, so I just thought it suited everything. I always thought Smooth Rock Falls was just a great name for a little town, and yeah, it's way up north in Ontario, and there are smooth rocks. Like the river runs very quickly up there, and yeah, and I'd been there. I think me and my three sisters have been there like maybe 3 times over the course of our childhood, and yeah, I just thought it just kind of suited the mood I was in.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Is there some truth to what it says in the book The Never-Ending Present? I know there's some truth and not truth inside of that book. So I'm curious, is it true what is said inside that book about, your dad having memories of the Bill Barilko search because of where he grew up. And so you were actually like familiar with that story because your dad grew up and can remember like the search planes and stuff. Is there truth to that story inside this into the book?
Yes, absolutely. I knew
Yeah.
about it. Gord found the hockey card. Like I hadn't thought about Bill Barocco or that story. But Gord came. We both lived in Toronto with our girlfriends at the time, and he said, "Hey, I found this hockey card. It's pretty cool. Like I might sort of try and marry it to all the, because we were all putting music riffs in. So, and I said, oh, I know that story because Tick, T-I-C, my dad's nickname, Tick had told me about it. And he said, yeah, the planes all summer. So he scored the goal, and that would have been probably early mid-spring. And that whole rest of the summer, little planes, which didn't go over Smoothlock Falls, were back and forth, and they were looking for Baroque. Everyone somehow knew that in the town, in the woods up there. And yeah, and then rumors started to swell all over the country that he had defected to Russia at the time, or maybe the Soviet Union at the time, but no, it was Russia. Anyway, that turned out not to be true because they found him, you know, um, 11 years later
Hmm.
in a tree in the plane with his dentist. So when Gord told me about that, I'm like, oh wow, it's quite a um, it's kind of weird that I know this story already. And now a lot of people know that
Totally.
story. I mean, this kid was he was like, whatever, really good looking, really young, scores the game winning goal. He was like he had become a star almost overnight. And then he disappeared very, very soon after. So it was quite a
Yeah.
Canadian story at the time. And now,
It's a crazy story if you think about it. It would kind of be nuts to think about anybody it happening even now. Like it's still a wild story.
yeah, wild because it was to win the cup. And yeah, so, and Gord, of course, just reads the card, like he added the 50 mission cap part, which I think is a cool addition, but he's basically just singing it word for word what was written on the back of the card. And I thought that's cool. Good idea. Great idea. We all thought that. And then Sinclair had the riff for Gord Sinclair had the riff for 50 Mission, like down, 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 and kind of a little AC/DC or something, and we all loved it. And it was like Gord, it totally suited his words. So yeah, that was a nice happy accident. So many songs are just happy accidents, especially when you got five people writing. Um, just things just happen accidentally a lot, and you just go with them if you feel like they're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping yourself open to the things that come together.
You
Yeah.
have to. You have to, because you
You
can't.
have to.
Well, as a songwriter too, it's like sometimes the harder you try, the further away you get from where you want to
Totally.
go. You kind of just, as
Yeah.
you say, you got to be just open. You got to just open yourself up. But it's a mystery. No one knows. Bob Dylan doesn't know how songs are
Yeah.
written, and
Yeah.
none of us do. It just there's no question on openness is required. And when you're collaborating with people, um, well, it's the same guys too, and we had the same goal. We wanted to be songwriters. We wanted to be. That was the most important thing. We thought that will guarantee our have being a career band, as if we just keep writing. And so everyone was kind of open to other people's ideas, but there's compromise, and if your idea doesn't, because we're kind of hyper democratic, so we'd kind of go around the circle three times. So the five of us, so there's 15 ideas, and then the ones that come up the next day, like, hey, I really like that one, or I like that one, which would probably be half of them. Those are the ones you go with, and you personally say goodbye to the other. Like no one was, everyone was kind about it. Just your idea wouldn't come up the next day, and so
Yeah.
it's okay. That's done. So I think we were very good at accepting, which ideas came true, and it all it all evens out, which is a weird thing that happens as well.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about more with this process as the band, with even deciding things beside songs and things like that, things beyond that the band has been involved in. Talk about what that process looks like collectively when things are brought to the band, however they come, whether it's you guys directly or an outside source. What does that look like for you guys in terms of like a hard yes, a hard no? Um, especially now with kind of more of like the longevity of the band and the brand and, things like that.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I think we're good communicators. We generally, in general, are on the same page, even before, say, well, since COVID, it's like a Zoom call. Um,
Yeah.
Fairly confident that everyone feels the same way I do about this particular given proposal, or, do you want to do this, or is it okay for this filmmaker to license this song? And it's random and fairly constant. And in general, we're on pretty good. It's kind of rare where someone's like, "No, I really think we should do this," and where you know, four other guys, because Pat Downey represents Gord Downey's interest, or all the Downey's interests, and yeah, so we don't have too much difficulty getting 100% on things like consensus, and that's sort of how we always ran the hip. It was consensus. Like if someone didn't like a song, it was like it's not going to happen. It's not even like say even after we recorded them. It just we had to be 5 out of 5 all the time, and that's kind of how we run the business. It's a bit slower. It's a bit harder to. It's like a big ship. It's hard to move that, but yeah. And generally, we do land on the same page with certain things. Like we played with Feist, um, Leslie, and she. We weren't going to do it. We weren't going to do. They want us to play the Junos, and it's like no, no, we don't want, and get a singer, and we don't want, some guy trying to sound like Gord or whatever. And then Feist's name came up, and we're friends with her, and everyone was like, I could tell in the Zoom call, everyone was like, oh, well, that's an interesting idea. And so it's I think we're lucky that way that these little things, and the things that kind of get thrown through management or through whatever, ideas, hard no's and hard yeses are very obvious. Um, there's some in the middle, but most of them are fairly hard no's or fairly hard yeses,
Yeah.
I would say, as a group.
So I'm curious about this play that just came out. It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken. Have you
Yeah.
had a chance to see it yet?
Mm-mm. No, I have not. Robbie went up. It's in Hamilton. Well, it's
Yeah,
finished. It's run in Hamilton,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Robbie went up and saw it. I had too much on the go. I think the same with Gord Sinclair and Johnny. I don't think Pat Downey saw it yet. I was on the phone with Pat Downey the day before it opened, and I was like, pretty good possibility this is going to be a bomb. And
I
just
thought it was absolutely fantastic.
did you? Oh, you saw it?
I saw it on opening night. Yeah, I drove up
Oh,
to
did you?
to Hamilton and saw it, and I thought the same thing. I tried to go in really open-minded.
Yeah.
Again, just really being open-minded about just whatever happens, happens, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
We'll see what it is.
I was pleasantly surprised. I really, really was. And so if
Excellent.
you get the opportunity to see it when it comes to Kingston in the fall, you should definitely go and see it.
Oh yeah, I won't be able to avoid it in Kingston. Of course,
Yeah,
I'm going to be
yeah,
there, and
yeah,
but my girls went, um, and they loved it.
yeah,
Uh, and now they're theater girls, or they, like just all of it.
yeah,
They take all of it in, and they love it. And movies that are basically it's like theater. It's like a play almost.
yeah.
So anyway, they loved it, and so that's good. Nothing but positive feedback. So like I'm just impressed already. I'm not going to see it for 6 months because it's not in Kingston till the fall, but it really is wild the feedback I've received already. Just me walking around, or me, I played a couple shows, and after the show, it's like, oh hey, I love the show. The play is unbelievable. I was just there anyway. So it's like it's going over really well, which is it's kind of it's nice.
I have a theory that Gord would have really, really enjoyed something like this, seeing the
Yeah,
music interpreted like
yeah.
this and the story and everything like that. I think that he would have thoroughly enjoyed something like this.
I would think if everything I'm hearing, and I'm hearing it from you now, is true, he would love it. He would love it. He would feel so honored, um, that people were singing his words. And we did see a workshop a couple years ago. It's not, I don't think it's the same cast. Maybe there's one or two left, but that's how the theater business works. You go in, you're there for a couple weeks doing workshops, and you either get the part or you don't, or whatever, and you move on.
Hmm.
Anyway, we saw the workshop. Most of them were heading back to New York City, but it was good, and it was kind of wild. They changed it up quite a bit, I've been told, and my impression is. But similar, that it's hip songs, but it's not a story about us. It's just the
Absolutely.
music is used to tell another story, and or to help it. And yeah, the workshop was very interesting, and they obviously just kept working, and because I would think it's a lot of work to put on a show that people like.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of moving parts behind the scenes and in real time.
Hmm.
Um, and that, the choreography was just fantastic. The story was fantastic. And the thing that I think was the coolest part about it was the new life that these songs were given, that this could have been released as a soundtrack and these songs could just be from this, that they were really able to give this new life and new story and kind of meaning and contemplation about these songs because of the way they were used in the story, which is really fun, especially with these songs, because there's always so much deep dive and interpretation into what the song means and what Gord was trying to say, and to see them used in the production in a way that is totally different than what maybe people thought of the song.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool too. Like just gave
yeah,
some new life and thought to the songs.
yeah. Pretty neat.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty amazing.
yeah.
Really didn't see that coming. I mean, we heard about the idea a few years ago, and we were like, "What? Okay." Like we were all just like, "Okay, if they want to." It doesn't sound like a winner, but uh, turns out like it is. I
It
think it's a
sounds like a
Montreal
bold
one.
undertaking, I'm sure. It's just
A
like you
bold
hear somebody wants
undertaking.
to do something like, yeah, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
you do you, okay. Like,
yeah,
have fun.
yeah. Good luck.
It's a lot of
Uh,
work.
yeah, we kind of felt the same way with Mike Downey and the documentary he made, with a lot of help from a
Yeah.
great big team. But it was kind of like, okay, well, wouldn't want to be you, but good luck with that.
That's too funny. And that is really funny that you mentioned that too, because it kind of leads into I want to talk to you about this project that I've been working on called the Copper Penny Project.
Okay.
And I've been working on this little podcast mini series thing for about a year now. And I've been working with my friends Andrew and Mike on this project.
Yeah.
And over the past year, and really get to know Davis in a way that we didn't anticipate when we started this project, which is really, really, really cool because he seemed like such a very cool guy. And I'm really excited for everybody to get to know him more, get to hear his music, get to know about this time period in the band's history, right? Just all of these things. So, what
That's
is your
cool.
memory of that time frame? And you had already mentioned, Davis Manning and touched on that time a little bit. So, elaborate more on your memory of that time and what's your memory of the Copper Penny Show?
Okay. Well, that time was Gord. Both Gords and I were living on Brock Street, a street in Kingston, that Gord Downey's dad owned and was renting out to us. And Davis would come by sometimes. He was already in the band. They met him. I don't know who had the idea to ask him to join, but he was kind of like a hip cat, and it kind of with the name, the Tragically Hip, it kind of really really suited that name. Or you'd see the little promo pictures, and it's four really young guys and Davis, this kind of swinging jazzy dude. And so he'd come by, and I was kind of continuing to learn how to play guitar. I hadn't played for probably more than a year and a half, and he had these beautiful songs that he played. Who's Got Perfect Timing? That's me. I mean, just beautiful. You wouldn't think it because everyone knew him as a sax player, so he's always just on the sax. But he had a pile of really good songs that he'd
Mm-hmm.
written, and he would play them. Wouldn't hesitate. And I mean, we'd all kind of play each other songs once in a while that maybe we've written. And so Davis, we were all like, wow, he's got some good ones there. And yeah, so he was around. It was fun. He was with Newer, and so we would see it, and we knew Newer as well. And so it's not only they would not only play gigs, but there was socializing as well in between those
Mm-hmm.
gigs. And yeah, so it was all good, good period of time. I think it just kind of, this is 1985 mostly, and part of 86. And I think he just wanted to get going. Everyone was busy. It was tough to sort of squeeze gigs in between school and everything. Those three guys, both Gords and Robbie, were, in university, which, in whatever year, second or third, where you can't play every night. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Davis just started to get frustrated with that, and he wanted to be on the road. And I think the most frustrating part for him was that he felt like the band was really good, and so we should hit the road. And no one was into hitting the road anytime soon. Everyone wanted to graduate, and so anyway, he left, but we'd see him. We'd see him here and there. He moved out to Hope, BC, as you probably know, and eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, he and Noor split up, and yeah, so he left. But we'd see him on the road, or maybe a couple times he came back to visit Kingston. But he'd certainly come out to shows when we were out west, and yeah, so we always maintained a good sort of thing with Davis, and he was always very kind. And he's also the guy that said, "The money's in the songs, boys. The money's in the songs. We play your covers all you want, but if you want to make something of this, you got to be writing." And it was good. We kind of knew that already, but when he said it, it's kind of like, yes, okay, 100%, we're
Yeah,
going that direction. Yeah,
I
so
love
he was a
that.
good guy.
That little nugget of wisdom.
Yeah, that's it. That's good you're doing that. Okay, so and Copper Penny, I remember it well. I mean, I went to the show. Gord would put me on
Nice.
the list in general because at that point I was probably driving cab, and so I could pull in and just check out a show. They're playing some bar in Kingston. And so Copper Penny was owned by a guy that ended up to be our manager for a long time, 15 years, Bernie Breen, with Patty
Mm-hmm.
Sambrook. Anyway, he owned the club. He booked him in. I remember it being a great show. I remember where I was sitting. It was kind of like more of a restaurant than a club, really. I mean, I think Bernie just had the idea to start running music there. So he'd have like Ronnie Hawkins and the Lincolns, like all these bands that were kind of touring bands. And so the hip played there. I remember thinking it was a good show. I've heard the tape. I loved all those songs. They were kind of early hip songs. Some early hip songs, a lot of covers, but some nice early hip songs. Some that didn't make it, but yeah, they were fun days, and I remember going, having a good time, and it was just it was sort of fairly regular because you could see they did play regularly in Kingston at various clubs, five or six of them, and so I do remember that show pretty well.
That's awesome. I'll have to make sure to get you the files of the final tape that Mike has been working his audio magic on. It sounds really
Oh,
great. And I will share some of Davis's songs too. Mike has really, really done some great work on Davis's songs.
oh, good,
I'm actually going to help Ona put them out. We're going to find a way to get the music out in
excellent.
conjunction with this podcast so everybody can hear his songs. But I'll send you the audio files and stuff because I think you would really really love to hear
Oh, I would love it.
these
It would bring me
tracks for
so
sure.
back because he would play all of them. So I would know all of them,
I
from way
love
back.
that.
Like as soon as I hear them, I'll know them
Yeah,
because I
that's
mean, obviously,
amazing.
yeah, obviously, I was always, you know, very complimentary and just like kind of blown away, and so was everyone else. It was kind of like, wow, Davis, didn't know you did this. So good. I
It
mean,
was
he's
this, I
so good.
had the same reaction when I would get the files and I'm listening to the songs and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Like,
a
all
little something
right.
other, like really, yeah, he tied them all up too. The lyrics are great. Um, yeah, really cool. Unexpected.
Yeah, yeah. I'll keep you updated on this whole
Okay,
project too,
thank you.
because I think you'll really enjoy it once we get it all done. It's been
Absolutely.
very, very cool thing to work on. Yeah, it's been a lot of
Yeah, I'm
fun.
sure. Yeah.
Um, so I want to talk about you getting back on the road, doing these shows this summer. You did a few shows recently, and then you've got a
Yep.
bunch that you announced and coming up and through the summer. So talk about that and getting back into doing a bunch of shows.
Yeah, it's fun now. I mean, I was anxious about it because we hadn't played since last March. Like we did a theater in St. Catharines, and it went well. But then a year goes by, and we try and get together. Well, we recorded the record in that year in the fall, and we try and get together and rehearse even if we don't have gigs on the way. Um, but certainly not enough. So I was pretty anxious going into uh, like as we entered into May, and it's just like it's different for me as a singer being front and center. It's a different experience. It's There's more heat,
Hmm.
there's more pressure. Like I'd get nervous for hip gigs, but I never dreaded one ever. Like I just knew it was going to be great, and get nervous, and that's always a good thing. But with my stuff, if it's been a while, and with this band, I really I wouldn't be doing this kind of thing if it weren't for these particular guys, particular people involved, and so now we got I think at least three or four gigs under our belt. And so now I'm feeling much better about it. I'm feeling like, okay, yes, okay, yeah, I can do it. These guys have my back. They're a really good band. And we're rehearsing, trying to. As I said, everyone works, so trying to do once a week, but it's probably once every 2 weeks in the last, say, couple months, and so that matters. And so now, yeah, we got shows we're excited about. Big show in Toronto coming this coming Saturday. Feist is headlining that one. We go on first, and I love going on first. In the Hip, we always wanted to go on second. Like if they said, "Oh, would you mind?" Or go on second last, as opposed to last. We if we ever got the opportunity, we jump at it and say, "Yeah, we'll go on second last." But anyway, I think I got a good slot. Weather so far isn't looking good, but I used to be Catholic, and I have a Catholic friend, so I'm going to get him to, do some work on that. So that's Saturday, downtown Toronto, Nathan Phillips Square. Broken Social Scene is on it. And yeah, so
Nice.
that's going to be fun. They're kind of random though, like they're spotted all over the place. I don't know. There's maybe three in July, maybe a couple in August. Yeah, so it's kind of random. I mean, I sort of was just hoping. I got what I hoped for. I just want to kind of play festivals, is what I like doing, and with this particular thing, outdoor festivals, it's easy peasy. I don't have to worry about tickets. Like, oh my God, we've only sold 400 tickets, and it's Thursday, and the show's
Totally.
Saturday, and just I can't help looking, because now you can look, right, and so looking at the seat map, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I don't like that part of myself, and so I just like a festival. They're responsible for the crowd. Show up, play, get paid, have fun, lots of smiling faces, especially if it's in the daytime. So yeah, we got a few of those, and it's exciting. The other guys are massively excited. Um, Especially Greg Ball, whom I mentioned. It's just fun to
Yeah.
leave your daily work life and go play a rock show is like, you know, well, everyone loves doing that. Any musician loves um,
Totally.
to play music, and
Yeah.
if they could work a way to make a good living at it, they'd do it. But it's a
Yeah.
specific sort of spot where you can certain things have to happen. They have to happen to you when you're younger, um, where yeah, maybe you can build something up, but otherwise you're kind of doing it for the fun of it, and they all love it, and we have tons of laughs, and um, so I am looking forward to the shows this summer. It's going to be it'll be fun. Like I forget that I have fun until the first chord is hit, and then I realize, oh, okay, yeah, this is fun, and after's
Nice.
fun. It's just the before that I just get too
Yeah.
in my own head. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that means that it's still exciting and everything to be out there. You're just not so, you know, blasé
Yeah.
about it. You still get excited about being there and doing the
Oh
live
yeah.
the live show
Yep.
experience. Yeah.
Yep, for
So it's a
sure.
good
And
thing.
yeah, it is a good thing. And a couple of gigs under the belt, then it's kind of like, okay, so I know I can do this. I know we can do this. So this is going to be fun. And so that's where I'm at right now, which is great. It's it's um, it's kind of freeing, to not be anxious about anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that you've had some issues with your hearing in the past. Is this true? And how does that factor into playing live and listening to music and things like that?
Yeah, it affects me way less than it used to. But yeah, I've been totally deaf in my right ear, 100% deaf since about, I don't know what, I think it was 2011. So 15 years. It will be in December. Called sudden hearing loss, has nothing to do with music. If I went deaf playing in the hip for all those years, it would have been in my left ear because that's where the cymbals are, that's where all the noise was. Um,
Right.
Yeah, and there was a lot of talk about maybe it was your cell phone. Well, I always talked about on my cell phone with my left ear. So it's called sudden hearing loss. It's fairly rare. You just wake up that way. You're sick. you wake up sick, nauseous, like an extreme hangover or something, and then your hearing. You realize after you feel better after a few hours. I went to the hospital, or I was brought to the hospital, and then I realized, well, there's something funny about my hearing now. I don't know what it is, and anyway, it's kind of weird, but if the amount of hearing you lose is like if you only lost 50%, the likelihood that it'll snap back on is way better than if you lost 100%. You have 12 days is the record where your hearing comes back. If you go over the 12 days, it's not coming back. So this is all stuff I read and was told as I was taking hearing tests and stuff because we were recording at the time in the bathhouse. So I don't know what
Yeah.
record it was, but now from Plan A or something, and um, yeah, it was off-putting because it was in the studio and now I could just hear one side in your headphones. And so it took me. I've talked to a couple other people who had it who were really like it's traumatizing. One was a woman that's a teacher at a school, and her husband phoned me. He's a musician. He's like, she's lost all her hearing in one ear, and I heard you had that, and I said, yeah, I did, and I'd had it for. It'd been that way for 2 years. He's like, would you mind talking to her? I said, I'm happy to. Like, it takes about 6 months. You'll get used to it. I tried the hearing aids, where you put a mic, they're called cross aids. You put a mic in your deaf ear and a receiver here. It just threw me off. It's all high endy. You just hear like plates and cutlery and all that kind of stuff. And so I tried it for a year maybe, and no, I didn't like it. So now I just tell people. And my girls, daughters, they tell a server if a server's talking to me here, telling me a special, they'll be like, "He can't hear out of that here. That's why he's not trying to be rude." I just have no idea anyone's talking to me. So anyway, it doesn't affect me anymore. I mean, the only little thing I do is I put a monitor when I'm singing. I just need one monitor because only the left ear, and I just point it at my left ear, or have them point it at my left ear. Otherwise, no, it's kind of, might affect me for dinner or something here and there. But musically, no. I mean, I was worried at the time that maybe I'd lose the ability to sing harmony, or something that was gonna, kind of knock me down a peg musically and within my role within the hip, and that never happened. I get very used to it, and it's not an issue. If I'm doing an acoustic show, say with Greg Ball, which we've done, or Gord Sinclair, and I did a thing the other night at this engagement party for friends of ours, kids, and just get the person I'm doing the song with to stand to my left. That's the only thing, especially if it's acoustic. But just so I can hear them. But otherwise, no, it doesn't affect me a bit anymore. But it does take time. If it ever happens to you out there, it takes time to adjust. And it's mentally, it's challenging to get to a point where it doesn't bother you anymore. But I've been that point for years and years and years.
Wow. Wow. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
Okay.
If you could erase your memory and experience an album for the very first time again, what album would it be?
For the very first time.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, normally when I've been asked, like, what's your favorite album? I normally say Phantom Power, but when you put the question, because I just like Phantom Power, it's kind of like the middle of our career, and it's kind of has all the elements that we were working on, and over our career, subtly and without knowing, just where the sound of Phantom Power ended up in those songs. But no, I would say road apples. If it's a first time thing, I think I would um, I would react to road apples for sure. I think
Yeah.
more than up to here, more than fully, completely. So yeah, road apples. There's just something about the raw rock of it, rock and roll. Just really, you know, um, yeah, I'd pick that one.
Yeah, just like that era, just like the whole vibe of it.
Yeah, yeah, and we were kind of just hitting our stride, and you know, it
For sure.
was, we had to, we wanted to make it better than up to here and show some sort of growth, and we always had that goal. And sometimes it takes a left turn, like Day for Night or whatever. Philly Completely is a left or a right turn. Road Apples kind of it sticks a bit closer to up to here, like we were just kind of raw and simple, and the guitars are panned out all the way, so you can hear me in one speaker, Robbie in the other. And Road Apples was recorded that way as well. Don Smith did both Up to Here and Road Apples, and yeah, there's something about Road Apples that I would say that's the one. I think that might even be the one I would put on if I were ever doing that. I don't, but hey, you want to hear my band? If I had, that would be my first choice. Play that one, see what they think. But
That's
I don't do
interesting. That's interesting.
that.
What was your first concert?
Mine ever was,
Yeah, your first concert ever.
yeah. Well, I saw my uncle's band like at in a wedding, so that
Yeah.
was the first time I saw a band. But I was younger. But official concert would be Cheap Trick with Prism opening at the local
Nice.
arena in Kingston. It's called the Memorial Center. And yeah, a couple of us, we wouldn't have, like, Gord, Sinclair, and Robbie would have known each other, but I hadn't even met Gord yet, or any of them, because I was in elementary school. But yeah, we checked out tour bus, a couple of buddies, look at that, it's a bus. And yeah, Cheap Trick were kind of just catching fire at that point.
That's cool. I like that.
Mm.
I like that. So I'm curious, was your uncle a big influence on you being interested in music and being a songwriter? Like, what was the influence growing up into that being what you wanted to do?
Well, it wasn't. I kind of resisted it. I mean, my mom definitely was, kind of all over me too. She heard me singing, you know, with my sister, like just to the radio or something, and she's like, "You should really sing this." When I'm 13 or 14, no, you should really do it. And we had a piano, so I could kind of semi play the piano, not well, but I could do it. And yeah, and then I had, I went to guitar lessons that she had set up, and I didn't like the guy. I didn't like the songs we were trying. And so I just was like, okay, it's not for me. And then a couple of years go by, and Gord Downey moves into town, and we're hanging out, and he's wanting to be a singer. This is what he's telling me. And I said, oh, like in bands. And he said, yeah, I really want to do it. And he did. So I watched him. So I'm sure that was an influence of some sort. But I didn't really, like, I didn't go back to the guitar, and I didn't songwrite. Um, like even on the piano, because then I went away to university. And anyway, first year I bought a guitar off a guy on my floor, and I I didn't have hardly any cash, and I knew my mom really, really, really wanted me to do that. So I bought a Beatles book and learned some songs in the fall, and then did a song or two for her for Christmas, because I didn't, I thought it was the best option, that she'd like it the best, and like better than a gift. And anyway,
I'm sure it
so
was a
then I
hit.
just it went well, and then yeah, I kind of I just worked away at the guitar, and it was, I would just seem to be wanting to write songs, so I would do that. I learned a lot of songs from bands I liked, Beatles and Bob Dylan, Stone somewhat, you know. But I just found myself writing songs, not good ones, but close, trying to, not ones I could really believe because I hadn't really figured out lyric writing at that point. But yeah, so it just kind of pretty late start. I was 19, and but then I got a little better at it, and then I got asked to join the band, so I just had to go right in and chisel out my role.
That's
And
amazing. You just kind of
yeah,
had to just get into it. Just do it and get into it.
yeah, I
Talk
knew
a little
Robbie.
bit about your guitar gear. I would love to know some more about your what do you take on the road with you and which your go-tos, your favorite, even when you're at home, hanging out there on the porch.
Right. Um, yeah, well, now I've gone back to my main hip guitars. For the past couple of years in the shows I've played, I've been just using other guitars that I have just to kind of change up like the look and um, maybe the sound, but it's more just the look and the feel of the guitars I was playing. And then I just thought, no, for this one, now I'm going to go back to my two main ones. So my main guitar is a Les Paul Sunburst. They're both 72s, but a Les Paul Sunburst um, Deluxe, and my other main guitar is a Tobacco Burst Les Paul Deluxe, and that's 1972 as well. And I love them. I kind of use those more than anything in the hip career. I mean, I used a Telly for quite a few years, up until Day for Night when I bought my first Les Paul. And yeah, I've had the same acoustic for a long time, like since maybe '89. It's a Takamine black one, and I still use that. So I'm really kind of back to what I've always used. It's comfortable. I use the same amps. I've always played Randall, which some people find very weird and kind of rare, but I don't know. I just stumbled into them and from the very start, and so I've always used them. I got used to them, and just I'm just used to it. So, I mean, I'm kind of like, it's like I don't want to change. I just feel like I'm risking something if I change up. Um, like I found when I was playing the other guitars in this format. I just wasn't liking it as much. I mean, I'm half deaf as it is, so it's kind of like I want it to be just what I used to be able to hear,
Right.
and like depending on the song. And so, yeah, those are all my go-tos right now.
Nice. What are you listening to music-wise? What is was on your, rotation? Anything new that you're into, or anything old that's resurfaced that you're into? What are you listening to?
Um, it kind of depends. Like a lot of times, it would be Joanne's music, like just on the Sonos or something. But if I'm around a record player, um, more recent. I wouldn't say I'm hot on like Robbie's hot on new
Yeah.
stuff, and I think Sinclair is too. Um, Jason Isbell, I really like him. Um,
Hmm.
Seen him a couple times, and I really like the way he writes songs, and well, I really like his songs. I mean, I float around from kind of way back. Um, certainly Dylan, John Prine, is a big kind of go-to for me. Um, so it kind of really depends, and I'll have someone will say, "Hey, check this out, check that," so I will, of course. But yeah, it seems pretty like random and varied and ever changing.
I was going to ask you if you are familiar with Billy Strings. I'm a big Billy Strings fan.
Okay, yes, yes,
I
I
I
am.
really like Billy Strings a lot, and I remember seeing him play little. outdoor gigs here in Buffalo, like before COVID. And he was just like, this little dude just playing out there. And now he's selling out these massive arenas. Like it's
Yeah.
insane. But I really love Billy Strings. Steven Wilson Jr. is another guy that I've gotten into recently. I don't know if you've checked him out.
I've not. No, Billy Strings I have, but
I
not
think you would
Steven
really
Wilson.
dig his style. You guys also use a similar guitar, so I will send you some videos too. I think you would really, I think you'd really like that dude a lot.
Okay,
So
appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I don't
yeah,
know of
he
him.
just did like this version of Stand By Me, and it was absolutely incredible. So yeah,
Really?
I'll send you some things. I think you'd really like that guy
Okay.
a lot for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Um, so I wanna ask you about this 3 EP thing that's coming out from the final tour. How did you guys pick the songs that wound up on there? That sounds like a daunting task.
Yes, we all felt like it was a daunting task. Um,
It's like
I've
trying
never,
to pick your favorite child or something.
yeah, and it was like, I don't know how many versions of each, 15 shows, so I gotta guess, there's probably four Blow It High Does, there's uh, probably at least 10, maybe more of New Orleans is Sinking, Ahead by Century, like they're just, so there was versions upon versions, all identified with the cities that we played them in. So
Right.
you'd have that information, and we all got sent it individually. And it started off like, okay, so how about um, it's Friday today, so how about next Friday we meet again, and everyone has gone through, and we did it by song, not city, so you just listened to all of them. Well, it didn't last long. All of us were kind of like, oh my God, this is insanity. So we have the guy that signed us originally to MCA US. So he's the guy that signed us. Bruce Dickinson, his name is. We've always been in touch, and he's been involved in all the box sets we've kind of been doing, like, uh, you know, since a couple of years after Gore died, maybe 3, 4 years after. And so Bruce picks them. So we
Nice.
totally trust him. I mean, it was his idea for us to work with Don Smith for Up to Here and Road Apples. His idea for us to go to Memphis for Up to Here and New Orleans for Road Apples. I mean, we trust this guy. He's put so many records together in his career. Um, that's his specialty. And so we just all ended up like, okay, Bruce, why don't you just do it? Give us your reasons. And so at the very end of the process, that's when the band came in and kind of like, not sure about this one. How about we try this? Or how about we wanted some kind of more recent stuff in there too, like good recent. If we're playing it on that last tour, it's good enough for this record because, um, even though Gord really wanted to play more recent obscure songs, that didn't happen. It was just the ones like Struggle Has a Name. We did that once, and it's a beautiful song. Glad we did. I
Hmm.
don't think that made the record, but I'm not sure. You know, uh, and so, yeah, there was sort of a couple of weeks at the end of the process where we were exchanging opinions a little more on, like, no offense to Bruce, he did a great job, but just kind of like, how about this one over that one? How about this? And originally we even had intended to cover every city, right? All 15 cities. Um, but that didn't happen. We had to go with quality. Um, and if there was, sometimes there's like a little sound issue, or sometimes there's just things that, whatever, Gord missed a lyric, or, you know, um, things like that. Or, he sounds way better here than here. And on the same song played in two different cities. So there was a lot of that at the end. but we managed to get it all worked out, and yeah, it'll be what it'll be. Uh, I like the idea, just it happened, so why not put it out and
Yeah,
have people able to listen to actual nicely recorded versions.
absolutely. So I'm curious how you're feeling anyway with, I mean, the 10-year anniversary is coming up. And so anyways, how you're feeling about that. But at the same time that you are having this reflective period in your life of 10 years ago and all of this, you're getting ready to go and do these shows and you have this new album coming out. And so at the same time, there is the present moment and new things and you moved into a new home. And so there's new alongside remembering and reflecting on all of that. So what does that feel like?
Yeah, I mean it's a like it's a touch surreal for sure. Hard to believe, like I'm sure many people feel this way, that it's been 10 years. That kind of flew by. Um, so yeah, I mean it's always uh, it's always been very pleasant and very rewarding being in the hip. And if someone stops you, I've only ever had good experiences, never had a bad one. And a lot of people that stop you here and there, especially since the doc, way more people, um, especially since that came out. Um, they always want nice things, maybe they want a picture, but they want to, tell you what the music meant or this particular song or whatever. So it's all good, and I understand. It couldn't have gone better. Or like obviously, once we all knew, including Gord, that it was incurable. The fact that he even wanted to do the tour was amazing, and that's just who he was, and they knew he could do it. And so there'll be a lot of thoughts of Gord, of course, and feelings of yeah, how it used to be, knowing, like, it's just, but it's kind of always there, you know, knowing that we would still be doing this. Of course, Gord wanted to do it till he was like 80s, in
Right.
his 80s. So yep, I'm not too worried about it. Like, for any of us, it's been long enough for us to, if it was in, like, if it was only 2 years out, that would have been a much tougher time. Now it's 10 years out. It's like, and we have nothing to do with what they're going to get up to. I think there's a few things going on here in Kingston. I haven't really even asked what, but they'll come up with things, and that's okay. So I don't think it's going to be like a big issue. I think I have a wedding like north of Toronto, that actual day or that weekend. So I won't even be around here, which may or may not be a good thing. I mean, I don't think it's. Uh, I think it's fine. It's fine that I'm not going to be there. They're not looking for us to sort of be participating or anything like that. And just feel lucky um, that the band means something to people, and that Gord did.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
I'd love to know what you're into that's not music related. What are your other kind of hobbies and things that you do that aren't music related?
Well, we have a cottage. I love the summer. I put up with the winter, but spring, summer, fall. So yeah, I like being at the cottage. There is a bit of music there because we do campfires a lot. And there's a lot of people that play up there. And so I love that kind of stuff. Family. Our girls live in Toronto. Both have boyfriends. Both making their way in Toronto, and seeing them either up there or down here or at the cottage would be my favorite thing to do. And I golf a bit, not like a lot, but if things are going like where I'm not that busy, I'm way busier than I ever planned to be after I kind of thought I was retired. But so I, once a week, maybe twice a week if things work out. Um, yeah, I don't know, not really much else. I fish when I'm at the cottage, so I like doing that. Read. I go in spurts, but I would be a reader, but
What kind
it
of
kind of
books do you read?
depends.
What's your
Like
genre?
novels. Yeah, novels. I
Okay.
read Project Hail Mary, which
Okay.
one of my favorite books recently I've read, and then I went and saw the movie, and I couldn't hear a
Yeah.
word.
I-
I couldn't hear a word,
Uh,
and it was just like the
uh,
longest. It was the longest movie watching experience I've had because it was supposed to be an IMAX, but I don't know, Super Mario or something was taking up all the IMAX theaters down here, so the sound was brutal. But I did love that book.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mostly, you know, there's readers, like one of my daughters is a reader, the other one is attempting to be more, she's getting to be more of one. All my sisters are readers, so I basically just go on tips of someone says, I love this, and um, because it's hard, I just don't like putting all the time in and kind of knowing in a book that I'm not loving this. I don't think it's going to get better, but I keep reading,
Yeah.
because I made the commitment. So, yeah, uh, yeah, just having fun with friends, is that's the best too.
I like that. Yeah. I'm a big reader too, but I love autobiographies and music books and things like that. I like to just find out more about artists I don't know about. That's
Yeah,
always my thing. I make myself read about people I don't know anything about. So I
yeah,
learn a bunch of new things. It's, if I'm going to be
yeah,
investing the time, I'm the same way. Like,
yeah.
want to
And
read something different.
I have a lot of those books, and I haven't really um, gotten into them, but they're there to be read. Would be a good goal for this winter. Like music biographies. I've read Dylan's kind of novels, um,
Hmm.
but yeah, the biographies and autobiographies, I do have them. I know where they are, even in this new house, and I just sort of pass by them, and I go to Kurt Vonnegut or something. I just kind of. But I have them. They're there to be read, so I will get to them.
So I have like this bonus question. It's interesting. I just thought about this because I recently saw the Strictly Hip do a show with the Buffalo Philharmonic.
Oh,
And
I saw that on social media.
it was so, so cool, for a number of reasons. But again, to see these songs interpreted in this way. Like I had just seen the play and then I saw them with the Philharmonic. So it was just a really cool kind of couple of days where I got to see this music played in different ways. So that was just
Yeah,
a really neat experience for me as a fan.
cool.
Um, but one of my favorite songs is the Depression Suite, and I'm a 9 minute song girl. I
Yeah,
love 70s prog rock, so the longer the better.
yeah.
The more, structured, the better. So hearing this song with the BPO was just such a treat. You really got more layers of this song and everything. And I think I'm kind of spoiled now. I never want to hear it performed without a full orchestra behind it from now on. Um, but I would love to hear some more from you about structurally that song. You're responsible for putting the three parts together. So tell me some more about the structure and your thoughts and everything of the song.
Well, I love the song. I love the transition. Um, basically two transitions between one and two and three. I was against it big time at the time because two of them were my ideas that I brought in, and I'm just like, oh, so we're turning those two ideas into half songs or whatever, and it, you kind of get pissy in your head. I wasn't saying that, but in your head when an idea sort of gets taken somewhere you didn't really see it. I thought they would be full songs. That's the second part and the third part, and Gord Downey brought in the first part, which I love too. And then Bob Rock suggested it. Maybe that had something to do with it too. Why I was kind of like not too into it, but and so then we worked on how are we gonna sort of stitch them together like music because we wanted to play the whole thing. We didn't want to sort of just chop it. We wanted it to be played instrumentally and vocally, and yeah. So it was ambitious, and we worked on it probably for longer than we would normally work. We probably worked on that for at least a couple of days, maybe three, and just to get it kind of feeling right. And so yeah, there's something about that song. I love it. Like I was definitely wrong to be against it because I just I love the ebb and the flow of it, and I think it's certainly our longest song, and there's something kind of slightly epic about it. And we used to love those bands too. I mean, um, and just where it's kind of like, wow, it's still the same song. Anyway, yeah, very happy about that one, and I'm not sure if we did that on the last tour. I don't think we did. We only did that record.
I'll have to go back and look. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll have to. Somebody somewhere's listening to this and like screaming like, "Yes, they did. They did." Like, they know this fact off the top of their head.
I don't think we did. We did. That's on We Are the Same, I think. I'm pretty sure it's on We Are the
Yes,
Same.
it is.
And
Yep.
we only
Yep,
did
it
that
is.
once. We did We Are the Same
Yeah.
once because it was four songs together. And we considered We Are the Same obscure. So all the obscure records we did one, maybe two times. So we did that in London, Ontario, and we did Struggle as a Name, but Depression Suite wasn't one of the four. Uh, fairly convinced,
Interesting.
you know, fairly convinced. I
Okay.
could be wrong.
Okay. I'll have to double check and look now because
Yeah,
now I'm just
let
generally
me know.
curious, just
Yeah.
I will. I definitely will. Awesome. Well, I think we got through everything I think that I wanted to
Excellent.
speak about. Yeah.
Don't you think
Yeah.
it's funny?
Well,
Is this on video? Like does it
yeah, it is.
on
Yeah.
video?
Yeah.
Don't you like
Yeah.
the two sets of bricks?
I
I think
was
it's kind of
totally
neat.
thinking about the same thing. I was like, I love this. We're, backdrop twins. This is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I should have worn plaid though. I almost did. But then it was a bit warmer out here than I was expecting because my plaid's my go-to if I'm just even a touch chilly. So I could have
Yep,
been in
same.
plaid. Yeah.
We
Um,
could have been total twins. Well, I'm in my basement. I'm actually like in my recording studio. I
yeah,
made
it
this
looks like
fun
it.
little like recording studio in my basement. So
Oh,
it's
great. I
yeah, it's
love
a
the
nice
brick.
little makeshift spot. So
Yeah. Are those
yeah.
real bricks or is it a backdrop?
No, it's actually like
Yeah.
it's actually just a tapestry.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And
It's
it's just
cool.
hanging. Yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
great.
So
Yeah,
it's a really
I think
cool
that's
little
great.
vibe in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's great talking, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing this. This was a lot of fun. I think we talked about some really cool stuff and my goal was to ask you some things that maybe you've never talked about before and I think we
Yeah.
accomplished that. So,
I,
I'm a happy
I,
gal.
yeah. No, I think you accomplished that. So that's no, that's nice. And thanks in advance. No rush or anything, but for sending me anything you were going to send me.
Yeah, I
Uh,
definitely have some little notes and I'm sure when I go back and listen and everything, I will remember everything I was going to send you and for sure I
yeah.
will get that
Yeah.
all to
Reach
you
out
and Don't forget your homework too, and let me know when you get a
Oh,
chance to listen
yes.
to those two songs.
Yes. Use it up. Wow. And can't wait
Yes.
anymore. I mean, they're very different sort of songs, at least. Like, I mean, as far
Yeah.
as the melody, the vocal. But no, I mean, once you said it, it's kind of like, oh, it could be close. Totally different ways to play it. But yeah, so I'm going to check that out. I'll check that out tonight and I'll let you know what I think.
Awesome.
But I think you're right.
Awesome. Fantastic. This was so much
Okay.
fun. Thank you, really, for
Oh,
taking the time and enjoy the new porch.
yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Yeah, and you have a good rest of the day and reach out we have our contacts, so reach out anytime and I look forward to talking to you at some point soon.
Yeah, of course. Talk to you soon.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. Please be sure to leave a review of the show. It would mean so much to me, and it helps get this podcast into the ears of even more fellow music fans. If you're not already following the show on social media, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Dropped Among This Crowd Podcast, or check out datcmediacompany.com for more. Thank you again. I'll see you around these parts real soon.